This person says, I keep checking every few hours for a new podcast. I'm dying to hear your views, Tom. And I do apologize. Listen, here's the deal. I host two podcasts, right? I host one for free. It's on Spotify. The idea behind it is that it's going to air every Friday, and it's going to be me giving my viewpoints on the political news of the week. And then I host another podcast over on Patreon where it's a paid subscription. And it's me interviewing people, not necessarily about politics, about a whole slew of things. And I have been pouring everything that I can possibly, every moment that I possibly can into creating content that I can then post to YouTube, since that is how I'm paying my bills. YouTube, we make a little bit of money off the TikTok shop here. YouTube is how we're currently paying our bills. That is our income. And so I need to focus on what makes me money. And while I have some advertisers that post ads on my free podcast over on Spotify, not nearly enough, not even close to enough to pay, not enough to pay a bill, let alone bills plural. And the Patreon has just been stagnant for so long. I have a small loyal group of subscribers, but it's just not growing beyond that. Everything else I'm doing is growing. This platform is growing, my YouTube's growing, my Instagram is growing, Blue Sky, everywhere else. And I've got to focus right now on where the monetization is. I've got to focus on the content that's bringing in the money at the moment. I would love to be able to get back to the podcast very, very soon, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's going to depend. I typically do my podcast on Thursday night for a Friday morning air. And if I'm spending 9-10 hours creating, editing, scheduling content between this app and YouTube, at night I don't want to do a podcast. And so that's why you haven't seen as many podcasts. It's been kind of sliding off a little bit. I do not want to lose those platforms, but if those platforms were paying me the kind of money that the content creation was paying me, I would be focusing on them, but they're not. And when I say they're not, I mean they're not. Like the money I make off the Spotify YouTube or the Spotify podcast from the advertisers that go on there, $35 a month, $40 a month. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, YouTube is literally paying all my bills every month. The money I make from YouTube is covering my bills. I got to focus on where the money is right now. That being said, I was thinking about maybe toying with the podcast where I interview other people, that podcast, toying with that format and taking it away from the paid subscription model and having it maybe be done in the form of a YouTube Live, where you could watch it happen live, or if you didn't have a chance to actually attend that particular live, that the entirety of that live would also be posted to YouTube as a video unto itself that you could go back and visit. I don't know if that's the right answer or not, but I got to focus on the everyday content, that 3 to 7 minute long content for YouTube, and we'll see what we can do with the podcast and how we can incorporate all of that back in.